The current iteration of the Royal Thai Marine Corps draws its heritage and doctrine from the United States Marine Corps since the Kingdom of Thailand's alignment with the United States during the Cold War, with Thailand as the staging area for the United States' involvement in their war with Vietnam. The Thai military has received significant support and training from the United States, with the position of Thailand being surrounded by mostly communist neighbors, and the poor track record of communists with monarchies. It's quite obvious what the king would choose. Taking a look at the insignia of the organization, such as it having the Garuda, globe, and anchor, this sort of connection is quite obvious, drawing parallels to other Marine Corps organizations which are also aligned with the United States, such as the Republic of Korea Marine Corps, with their version of the eagle, globe, and anchor as their own insignia. With the geopolitical landscape of modern Thailand, of it engaging in border conflicts at Malaysia, Myanmar, and Cambodia, both against state militaries as well as non-state factions and insurgencies, such as ISIS and other Islamic extremist groups, it would have the necessity for the military to modernize and expand both domestic capabilities to acquire military hardware as well as global acquisition. While much of the equipment and doctrine of the Royal Thai Marine Corps is based off of 1970s United States jungle fighting tactics, such as those seen during their war in Vietnam, yet without the standardization and logistics capabilities of the United States military, nor the might of their Air Force nor Navy being able to dump ordnance into an area of operations, this has posed several challenges to the Thai military. We don't have those capabilities. This can be reflected in the arms and equipment of the individual Marine, where the rule of thumb is that there is a mix of late Vietnam and Cold War era American equipment and arms, with the integration and phase-in of domestically produced counterparts. Often, though, these domestically produced counterparts and components have compromises in comfort, ergonomics, durability, and craftsmanship compared to their American equivalents. Much of this equipment would be shared by the Royal Thai Army. Let's take a look at a Marine here, a Lance Corporal that does have the basic set of equipment on hand with some aid, help, and luck to have some better equipment while still complying with basic regulations. He is wearing a set of BDUs in the current issue camouflage pattern, a digital camouflage pattern that has a distinct palette for the active duty Marines. The cuts, sizing charts, fabrics used is rather mixed. Uniforms are often sourced from local tailors that do not share the same sizing charts. This means that a garment with a large sizing tag may not match that with one from a different tailor with the same tags. This can be an issue for logistics and acquisition, unlike a standardized sizing chart in use by NATO or the United States military. Where in the United States military, a small rag jacket from the Air Force from modern day can be the same size as an older Marine jacket from the 1960s. No matter the contractor or aero manufacturer, that's one advantage the United States military has in standardization. On this particular uniform, it does not feature a rank nor insignia, a fairly common operational practice when engaging against the enemy and to avoid retaliation to the individual Marine or his family. One insignia he does show is on his boonie cap, the Rangers, with the insignia of a tiger. The boonie cap features a paracord braid, reflective cat eye sewn on the back, and a loop Velcro attachment point on the front. This also features questionable tags and origin of manufacture on the inside. One side note, when leaving the airport they stole a pair of sneakers and my tiger patch from my luggage. I'm still extremely annoyed by this, and I had to acquire one from eBay, which is more expensive. Please donate to the channel. This stuff isn't easy. While this Marine is fortunate enough to have a pair of American-made green jungle boots, more often domestically produced black versions are worn. These boots are well suited and proven for use in jungle conditions, yet if brought up to conditions outside of Thailand's tropical climate, they're not as well suited, such as this American desert. They do provide a great grip when traversing over rocks, mud, and other terrain, and another nice feature is that the bottom soles of the boots don't trap in mud. The helmet, however, is an example about how components of the individual Marine are significantly worse in fact compared to America's GWAT era, or even World War II era equivalent. Corruption in the Quartermaster Corps has led to this sort of abomination being issued. A cheap ABS plastic airsoft helmet that resembles a Pasget helmet with pretty crappy suspension and no ballistic protection whatsoever. This is even worse than legacy steel helmets such as the M1 Steel Pot, and it doesn't offer any sort of fragmentation protection. The helmet does feature a helmet cover that does match the camouflage pattern of that of the uniform. Other domestic and Chinese-made ballistic helmets are used by the Thai military and are based off of American designs such as the OpsCore Fast Ballistic High-Cut helmet. Most of the load-bearing equipment used by the Royal Thai Marine Corps is based off of the American ALICE system or M1956 system. While previously it was entirely American-produced, and while it's incredibly durable, it is not indestructible, especially after decades of extremely heavy use. As a necessity, domestic supplies of components are made to replace these American ones. However, depending on the contractor and make, many of these components are inferior to their American equivalents in features, quality, durability, and ergonomics. Our belt, for example, is not as thick as that of the American version. Although it shares a similar buckle to that of the third generation ALICE belt, the thinner material means that slide keepers nor the adjustment piece can't secure pouches and the belt properly, enabling them to sway and shift and causing issues with ergonomics and noise. The suspenders come in various different styles. This one is a Y harness and a copy of the American ALICE suspenders. The foam isn't as soft and it does trap in moisture and water. Magazine pouches hold 3 30-round M16 magazines each, with 2 side pouches on the side for fixation of grenades, smoke grenades, flashlights, and other utility items, with 2 on the load-bearing equipment as standard. No complaints about craftsmanship here. This is literally the American ALICE small arms ammunition pouch. There are 2 canteens on the belt. They are made of HDPE plastic and hold a quart of water, based off the American counterpart. The canteens, however, are of worse quality than the American version and have no provisions for use with NBC equipment. They nest an aluminum canteen pouch with a rough-rolled edge and are a copy of the US 1910 canteen cup. They are adequate for use in their purpose for boiling water, yet have worse fit and finish than that of their American versions. The canteen pouches are a copy of the US 1956 canteen pouch, but feature a lining and made of nylon fabric. Snaps and hardware are more difficult to use and are more fragile. However, these components are compatible and interchangeable with their American equivalents. The rucksack is domestically produced and shares much of the same design as the United States medium-framed ALICE pack, with it being a nylon rucksack with a frame made of stamped aluminum. The quality of this rucksack is actually quite nice and is on par with the American ALICE rucksack. This is a side grade to the American ALICE ruck with the benefit that it can be acquired new. The rucksack features a clear plastic window on the lid for identification, the Thai word for Army silkscreen on the top lid, a removable and integrated wet weather liner secured with Velcro that doesn't smell like rot, modern nylon buckles on the side front pouches, great improvement. The front pockets facilitate long and narrow objects which can go through them, for example axes and machetes, or poles. The shoulder straps are comfortable, however they do not have a quick detach capability, and the rucksack features a waist strap very similar to the American one. There's a mess kit. It is made of 3 pieces and is made of stamped aluminum, with the exterior surfaces painted green. This design is based off of the old World War II Japanese mess tins, and is better suited for cooking rice compared to other designs based off of the German field pot. More often now, Marines are seen equipped with domestically produced plate carriers, either in black or modern uniform camouflage pattern. Unfortunately, I do not have one of these. In operations, however, depending on the commander's discretion, surplus United States Mali equipment in OD Green, Coyote Brown, or M81 Woodland would also be used, as well as commercially acquired equipment in OD Green, Woodland, Black, Coyote Brown, or a uniform camouflage pattern. The Royal Thai Marine Corps deploys a diverse range of small arms, American World War II, and Cold War weaponry such as the M1 carbine and the Browning automatic rifle, the M14, captured weaponry from state militias, militaries, and guerrillas such as the Norinco Type 56 submachine gun, the Chinese copy of the Type 3 AK-47, and other weaponry. However, the main weapon in use by the Royal Thai Marine Corps is the .556 caliber service rifle, and for a while it was the American M16A1 .556 caliber rifle. There has been some serious pushes to phase out that particular rifle. More frequently, in operations and training, M4 carbines with polymer handguards and carry handles are seen since 2022. M16A2 rifles, M16A4 rifles with only the carry handle, or the Devore TAR-21 and X95 bullpup rifle with an M-Pro Light red dot sight are most often seen. The Norinco CQ-556 rifle, a copy of the M4 carbine, was used in limited numbers but is rejected for poor quality and fitment of parts, with incompatibility issues with American counterparts of the M4 and M16. The reason for this is not modularity, but for ammunition compatibility. Except for Israeli arms such as the Tavor 21 and X95, which are bundled reflex sights, most of these firearms are unadorned with attachments except for grenadiers with an underslung grenade launcher. M16A1 rifles feature a 1/12 twist barrel. However, most of modern military ammunition being used, either through acquisition or supplied from foreign allies, would use heavier bullets such as SS-109 or M855 loadings. This would have an ammunition compatibility issue. This is in more modern arms that have a 1/7 twist barrel to facilitate the use of the heavier 62 grain SS-109 bullet. The standard issue sidearm of the Royal Thai Marine Corps is the American M1911A1 pistol in .45 Auto. Although commercially acquired Colt government pistols in .38 Super are also used, however, sidearms can in some cases be acquired through private purchase, special unit issue, or captured from the enemy and utilized. Some examples of sidearms being acquired through private purchase or special issue would be the Beretta 92 FS 9mm, Glock 9mm pistols, and other miscellaneous handguns. Captured weaponry, for example, would be the Chinese Type 54 Tokarev and 760x25 Tokarev. Holsters for these pistols vary from U.S. military issue flap holsters, imported Safariland retention holsters or copies, Serpa derivatives, handcrafted leather holsters, or generic nylon fabric holsters. If you want to acquire your own set of Thai military equipment, your only real good option is to go inside of Thailand. Uniforms and tailors can be found near the Ministry of Defense over in Bangkok, and I can find the prices of them to be quite reasonable. As a train, you can go over to Lopburi and have a better chance of finding load-bearing equipment with better prices and selection. If you're unable to find certain components, substitute them with American Alice gear. If you break something, substitute in American Alice gear. A special thanks to my correspondent Tucker Wang for providing me great assistance in putting together this video. And also thank you for your own viewership. I'm looking forward to making more of these videos on Asian military factions and their loadouts. However, the logistics and funding to acquire them are quite economically challenging, as this video is not made with the assistance of sponsors. I greatly thank you for your viewership and support, and please consider donating to the Ko-fi page as well as the subscribe star. Doing so will allow you to be in the Q&A session once that is going, but I haven't decided on if I want to go into a Discord moderator. Now, if you do enjoy this video on the Royal Thai Marine Corps, brought to you by Glow So Bright, go ahead and give this video a like. If you don't, give it a dislike. Comment down below on what you think, read the video description, and please, subscribe and share. Doing so will help boost the channel and help it defeat slop on YouTube, which is really, really bad. Thank you very much for watching.